Good evening, class. Good evening. Yes. Which subject are we going to deal for some time? Geography, right? See, this is going to be just brief orientation about geography. I would divide this section into three different parts. First section, I would give you what is the importance of this subject in the context of exam, right? Because apart from exam, we don't have any other purpose now. That's very clear, right? Then I would talk about what is the content that we are going to see across these subject. And apart from that, what is that additional aspect of this subject has to be learned and how you are supposed to use this subject when you are writing your answers. So I am going to divide this lecture maybe for 1.5 hours probably into three parts. Now when you look at the importance of this subject, in the sense that geography as a subject is relevant both in your prelims as well as mains. And when you look at the general weightage with respect to this examination in the prelims exam, it is around 8 questions. And here when you look at this subject, what happens is, geography doesn't mean only geography. In geography, you would have physical geography, in geography, you would have human geography, in geography, you would have economic geography, you would also have an extrapolated aspect of this subject to environment, to disaster, right? So you would have different aspects of this subject, and roughly you would see that from the core aspect of this subject, you would have around 8 questions. This has been on a decline from past few years till 2020. Then again in 2021, again in 2022, UPSC had made a comeback for questioning on geography in prelims examination. This is with respect to prelims. Now when you look at your mains examination, this particular subject is going to be part of your GS1. And when you look at your GS1, you would see that there is an element of physical geography, there is an element of human geography, there is an element of industrial geography, and also an extrapolated aspect of geography to disasters. The specific geophysical phenomena, that's what you see in your syllabus. So when you look at the weightage of this particular subject in GS1, it is around 100 marks. It is around 100 marks. That means out of 250, it is around 100 marks. And day before yesterday, you had your GS1 paper happened in 2022, regarding 2022 mains GS1. And UPSC has made a comeback of asking about physical geography in the paper. That was not the trend previously. The trend with respect to geography till year 2020 with respect to mains examination was, it was emphasizing upon the industrial geography, or it was emphasizing upon the disaster aspect, or it was emphasizing on the economic geography, not so much on physical geography. Do not worry, what are the components of all this, we will discuss in a while. Right? So it has made a comeback. Now not only that, you would see that this particular subject has to be understood for you to understand the elements of GS3. And when you talk about understanding the elements of GS3, especially the aspect of environment. What is environment, my dear? It is nothing but whatever your surroundings, whatever you are living in. And any of your surroundings, be it your flora, be it your fauna, be it the nature that is existing around you, you would see that it is all determined by the geographical phenomena. If you see that particular region is having high temperatures, if it is having high temperatures, it is very certain the environment there will be dry. And whenever you look at your flora or fauna, it will be suitable to what? Desert ecosystem. So what becomes a fundamental basis for you to understand this environment as a subject? It is geography. And then applicative aspect of geography is nothing but your environment. So this becomes very, very important in this context with respect to GS3. Then apart from that, the disaster management. Disaster management. So when you talk about disaster management as a subject, again, disaster management is what? Managing a disaster. That is what is disaster management. Simple, right? That's what you say. What is a disaster? When you look at a disaster, that means some element of your environment is changing. Some element of your environment is behaving in an extreme manner. Suddenly there is a river. and you see that the capacity of the river has been overloaded, and you would see that it is transforming itself into flood. So the fundamental understanding of any disaster is what? Whenever you see a coherence, whenever you see a balance in the environment is being disturbed for some reason, that would manifest as a disaster. And to manage that disaster, you need the knowledge of geography. Right? So this is going to be an applicative aspect of your geography. So directly around 100 marks, indirectly or in an implicit manner, you would say this is around like 25 marks, this is around 25 marks. On an average, I would say 50 marks. So on a whole, when you look at your geography and learnings of your geography, you would see that this has a weightage of 150 marks. And the reason why I am categorically indicating this 150 marks to be a good weightage in the examination, it is that the subject is objective. The subject is very, very objective because this is science. Science, nothing to interpret. Now you see a mountain, you don't analyze a mountain. Will you analyze a mountain? Array, it is so high. How it is so high? Will you analyze? No. It is a mountain means it is a mountain. The maximum you would analyze about that mountain is how it has evolved. Is there any geographical phenomena which is determining the feature of this? So what is the advantage of geography? It is objective. It is objective because one advantage that you have in your science papers or your maths papers is what? You get the maximum marks. It's not like your social sciences. It's not like your social sciences where the scores can be cut here. You write about your geography, you write about your primary rocks, that was asked recently. You write about your cyclones, you write about your climate, troposphere, recent question. You write about your circum-Pacific belt, you write about your volcanism, you write about your earthquakes. They will have to give you marks. There is no scope to cut for the reason there is no analysis involved there. It is only the application of this subject which is going to give you marks, that is going to be determined. Right? So this is very, very important stake in the context of mains scoring. Because what happens is when you look at your mains syllabus, the things or the subjects which are very, very objective are limited. For example, your geography is objective paper, right? Your international relations is an objective paper, right? Your environment is an objective paper, not your ethics. Not your ethics. Ethics, for one individual what is ethical need not be ethical for the other individual. For one individual what is legal might not be legal in some other context. So what is happening is whenever you are going to study for your mains examination, one thing that we see is we would look for or we would focus for those papers which are very, very objective. Objective and ఏంటమ్మా? Objective doesn't mean your objective questions. What is objective? Objective fundamentally means that there is very, very limited interpretation of the concept. I understand the concept, I learn the concept, I apply the concept. I don't need to interpret it. Now wherever I have an element of interpretation to be very, very less, I call it as an objective paper. And geography is one such subject, right? This is the exam orientation, right? Incoming sudi, it depends. Like for example, in recent Forest Service interview, I was asked on a question, how do you differentiate between a weather and a climate? But I attended on 13th June 2022, recent Forest Service interview. Weather and climate, geography faculty, they don't know that I am a geography faculty. Ammaya, weather, climate, decent, right? It depends, right? It depends, okay? Now when you look at the fundamental understanding of this subject and the composition of this subject, when you look at any of your existence here, you would have come across this particular diagram very, very often. Be it your NCRTs, you would have read your NCRTs. Kadamma, chadivara? Chadutunara? Chadabotunara? Em jarabothundi? Right? Because everybody is writing in 2023 or 2024. 2023. Panchavarsha pranalika em ledhu kada. 2023 GS, 2024 optional, 2025 test series, 2026 me and my children are going to write it together. Any plan like that? No plan, right? 2023. Good. So already you should have started your preparation by now, if I am not wrong. Chesara cheyaleda? సార్ మీరు చేపిస్తారని వచ్చాం, మీరు ఆ క్వశ్చన్ అడిగితే ఎలా చేపిస్తాం. We will justify, right? We will justify, do not worry. Okay, you would have come across this particular diagram that this is atmosphere, this is hydrosphere, this is lithosphere, and whatever is the commonality that is existing in middle is what is biosphere. This is a common diagram that you have to come across. And when you look at the fundamental understanding of this diagram, it is saying for this biosphere to exist, what is part of this biosphere? Be it your plants, be it your animals, be it the human beings that are existing, that is what is called as biosphere. And when you talk about this biosphere, for this existence, you need to have a convergence and coordination and composition of what? Atmosphere. Means which deals with your climate. Hydrosphere, which deals with your water, oceans, right? Lithosphere, which deals with the earth's surface, which deals with the interiors of the earth's surface. So that means all of them have to be in tandem for the biosphere to flourish, for the biosphere to exist in its entity. So what is going to happen with respect to a subject of geography? You see that this geography can be divided into three aspects. One is the physical geography. That means we are going to discuss the core concepts of physical geography here. That means like how is your climate? If it is raining, why is it raining? How now you get it out? How many of you are engineers, my dear? See, proud engineers. These engineers will not keep quiet. They will get always, why is it raining? Arre, edo jarutundi. Something is happening. You think, right? So that aspect you will see. Now suddenly you see some circulations happening in the ocean. పొరపాటున వెళ్ళారమ్మా, పొరపాటున వెళ్ళారు అలా చూడ్డానికి, right? You see some circulations happening. Arey, what is happening? Right? Suddenly you're sitting here, suddenly it starts shaking. Then you will not think. The first thing you will do is what? Jump out of this building. First thing you will do that. Forget about thinking. Right? Shaking. Arre. Who is shaking? Balay Babu is doing this. Who is doing it? Right? Suddenly what happens is, for you to decipher all this phenomena, you need to understand certain concepts. The core concepts of geography is going to lie in your physical geography. Because unless and until you understand what is the physical feature that is existing in a particular region, you cannot say what is going to be the human and economic geography of that particular region. Because you know that for you to undertake agriculture as an economic activity, what you need? You need water. Now in desert, will you undertake agriculture? Certainly no. That means, don't you think the physical features of a particular region is determining what is the nature of the economic activity? Yes. And when you look at the population, that is nothing but part of your human geography. Now when you look at population, the densities of your population and the population dynamics and the population movement is going to depend upon what? It is going to depend upon what is the nature of the physical characteristics that are present in that particular region. Will you find high densities of population in desert region? Certainly no. Where do you find high densities? Generally in plain region. Wherever you have abundance of water, wherever you have abundance of resources, wherever it is comfortable to live. Now what is determining that comfortable factor? That is being determined by your physical features. So for you to understand what is going to be the nature of the human geography, what is going to be the nature of the economic systems or the economic activity in a particular region, you need to understand what is going to be the physical setup. Once you understand the physical setup, you will be able to decipher this human and economic aspects of that particular region. Are you understanding? Right? And the last aspect is what? It is nothing but the biomes. Biomes is nothing but the applicative aspect of all of your human geography as well as physical geography. Now these biomes, you see that whole of your world is divided into around 11 biomes. 11 biomes. Biomes means nothing but it's a large ecosystem. It is a large ecosystem and it is a generalized ecosystem. It might be your equatorial forest. It might be your savanna grasslands, it might be your desert ecosystem, it might be your steppes, it might be your temperate grasslands, or it might be with respect to your coniferous, it might be tundra, it might be Mediterranean. So different types of such biomes are categorically discussed for the reason that all of these are manifested by the application of your physical geography as well as human and economic geography. Right? So this is the conceptual part, this is the extended part, and this is the application part. Because once you understand these, what happens, my dear? Why are we going to study cyclones? We will study cyclone as part of your climatology. Why will we study cyclones as part of your climatology? Why? Andulo kottukupodanka. Why will we study? We study to understand the phenomena of cyclone, and the immediate application of it is manage the damage that is done by cyclone. Because repodduna meer anta administrators. Now when you become an administrator, what is your business? Kottukupoye vallu kottukupotarle. Will you be like that? You won't be like that. Arre, వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాడు. Will you be like that? You can't be like that. You have to be proactive. You have to be proactive with respect to what? Your disaster management. And for you to be proactive, you need to upfront understand what is this phenomena and then go for managing of these disasters. It's some applicative aspect. Okay. Now let's see what are we going to see with respect to your physical geography. Now when I talk about your physical geography as a subject of matter here, these are broadly divided into three aspects. One is the climatology, oceanography, and geomorphology. Now when you talk about climatology, the name itself is speaking that it is science of the climate, that we are going to understand what is going to be the phenomena with respect to the climate. Climate ante enti? Now when you look at the fundamental understanding of this word called climate, it is all about what, my dear? It is all about what is the temperature. It is all about what is the humidity factor. It is all about what is the wind system. It is all about what is the precipitation. It is all about what is the pressure system that is existing in that particular region. It is all about the process of condensation. Now here what is happening, you see that all of this phenomena we are going to study in climatology, because it is going to determine how is the climate of a particular region going to be present. Because you say, chala vediga undi, right? Asalu AC lekapothe undalekapothunnam. Inka prelims mundu. Prelims is in summers, May 28th. Then you will find every reason for not studying. You will feel that stress. Arey Baba, why are you not studying? Sir, very, very hot, sir. బయట నుంచా లోపల నుంచా? ఎగ్జామ్ వేడి ఒకటి ఉంటుంది లోపల, బయట ఇంకో వేడి ఉంటుంది, రెండు కలిసి ఏమవుతాయి? నువ్వు తండూరి అవుతావు మధ్యలో. అంతేనా? That's what happens. So for you to decipher all of this, we need to study climatology. Right? Climatology is all about what? These phenomena. And you would see one particular hero of this climatology as a subject emerging. Who is that hero? మన జీవితాల్లోకి వెలుగు నింపుతున్నాడా? దట్ ఈస్ వై ఈజ్ హీరో. రైట్? మన జీవితాల్లోకి వెలుగు నింపుతున్నాడు. దట్స్ వై ఈజ్ హీరో. రైట్? అవునా? సన్. Whatever phenomena that is occurring with respect to your climatology, whatever, temperature, pressure, humidity, precipitation, cloud formation, your cyclonic structures, any of these systems that are emerging as part of your climatology is fundamentally driven by sun. Because when you understand the philosophy of why is this sun considered so important, or why is the sun rays considered so important, or why is your solar radiation considered so important, we technically call solar radiation as solar insolation. Incoming solar radiation is what is insolation. Insolation. And this insolation happens to be the only source of energy. Only source of energy. From where are you getting your energy? You see, your plants are deriving its energy from what? From sun, through the process of photosynthesis. In your environment, you would study that your plants are nothing but your autotrophs, which have the capacity to make their own food. And what are we? We are all heterotrophs. We are all heterotrophs. So fundamentally, The source of energy for each one of this organism that is existing on this earth is who? Sun. And this sun is going to determine a lot of phenomena. And you would see that if any phenomena that is going to change in climatology as a subject, any phenomena, the only reason is this individual must be moving somewhere. He is not quiet, he must be moving, right? Because what happens is, sun is moving. Is sun moving or earth moving? Who is moving, my dear? Earth is moving. Chudandi manaki enta ego no. See how much ego we have. That we study geography as geocentric subject. We keep the earth constant. Everything else is moving. Ego. Ego. Antena? Actually, who is moving? Earth is moving around sun. And we say sun is moving. Arre. Alane chaduvutam. We would consider the subject of geography to be geocentric for some time, not heliocentric. Helio means sun, geo means earth, not your Ambani geo, this geo. Geocentric, geocentrism, geocentric means earth. Are you understanding? Are you understanding? You would see that your earth will be divided into different parts like this. Different parts, different parts. And to divide your earth into different parts, you would use an instrument called latitude and longitude. Simple understanding. Akkadi nunchi modalavutundi geography. Latitudes and longitudes, and on that basis, you would see that whole of the variation is going to happen with respect to the sun rays. The technically called solar insolation. Solar insolation. And you would see that the solar insolation is going to be restricted in a particular region, and that region you call it as tropics, tropical region. Tropics means tropicus. Tropicus means to take a turn. To take a turn, tropicus. What happens is, sun moves from equator to that particular place, he will take a turn again, move to the equator, again move to that place, again take a turn and move to the equator. Tropicus. He is playing there, he is playing there. Based on this movement, you would see that whole of your earth is divided into different zones. Different zones, because what did I tell you? I told you that sun is the hero, and on that basis of this role, your temperature is going to be determined. And when we get into the deeper aspects of this subject, you would see that this temperature will be the central phenomena for any aspect in climatology. This will determine what is the pressure of that particular region. And based on the temperature, based on the change in the temperature, based on the change in the pressure system, you would see that it is also going to determine wind as a phenomena. Because you would see that wind systems are nothing but balancing circulations. What is it balancing? It is trying to balance this temperature difference that is occurring because of the varied solar insolation. That is what is happening. That is what will happen. And you would see that this temperature will also become a causative factor for variation in a factor called relative humidity. Humidity antara? When you go to your coastal region, you do not know why are you sweating, but you will sweat. Anyway, on the day of prelims examination, you will feel humid. That's a different case. You know what? How will be the feeling? All disasters will be there on your body. Here you will be flooding. Paper chusina ventane. Flooding, right? Earthquake. Paper will be shivering. Earthquake. This region here, cyclone. Something will be crumpling like this. Cyclone. Here, forest fire. Within the head. Forest fire. You see, all disasters in your body. Look at the greatness of UPSC. Prelims paper. May 28th. Pachapottu podpichukondamma date. Pachapottu podpichukondi. May 28th. All disasters. Idokettama. This is one aspect. When you are writing exam, the circus around will be different. Everybody will be doing different circus. You will be sitting and writing exam. I still remember in my first attempt, I was writing exam. My center was UPSC Dolpur House Bhavan, UPSC Bhavan in Delhi, right? That is a center. I was writing exam here. There was one individual who is sitting here. What he was doing, got the paper, we will silently write. This fellow, after every question, yes. I didn't know whether he was answering his question paper or was he sledging me. Yes, yes. Circus. Now if you bother about this fellow, your paper is gone. Now behind me one more girl was sitting. She was thinking I was illiterate. You know why? She was reading out every question loudly. She was reading out every question loudly. Now I am solving my paper. She is not stopping. News reader, going on, going on, going on. I turned like this, one look. Arey veeduto enduku vachindra babu. So much circus, my dear. Paper itself is circus. Your mind itself is circus. The surroundings are also circus. What do you need to do? You will also have to do circus. Simple funda. Prelims is all about how well you manage the circus that is going on. Within, outside, in the paper. That's what your 100% prelims will see. Jugaad techniques. Jugaad techniques. I will be handling that batch. 40-day program, 100 hours, Jugaad techniques. Question edaina, answer okate. That is the tagline of that particular program. Whatever question you give my dear. We will get at any cost 100 out of 200, sufficient to qualify prelims. That is our greatness. Question edaina, answer okate. Tagline. Baunda? Nice, yes. That is a tagline. Right? Because you will see that prelims is something beyond knowledge. Because out of 100 questions that they give, hardly 30-35 questions will be within your knowledge base. నువ్వు ఎంత పెద్ద తోపైనా అమ్మ ఈ ప్రపంచంలో ఉన్న పుస్తకాలన్నీ చదివి దాన్ని నెమరవేసుకొని and you are digesting it, still maximum you can answer 30-35 directly. Rest 60 questions, 65 questions, what? Ugadi special offer or Diwali special offer, Dasara special offer, you leave and come, you can't. By hook or crook, we will answer. You can't do inky pinky ponky, father has a donkey, and whenever father has a donkey comes, you can't mark. No. Some logic will be there. We will understand that logic because UPSC is going to set that pattern. It is very, very clear that the examination is not all about knowledge, but it is about common sense, which is not so common for us. Avuna? It is not common. Danne common sense antaru. Ironical. Kadamma Voltaire says that your common sense is not so common. Asal sense common kaadu. Malla common sense is not so common. Very good. Prelims examination, you will see it demands lot of common sense, lot of composure. Composure. Captain Cool. Who is Captain Cool? Captain Cool evarama? Dhoni. Dhoni. He is known as Captain Cool. Have you ever seen him removing his shirt and doing like this? Have you ever seen him sledging somebody? Have you ever seen him banging the ground when he loses a match? No. You would have never seen any of these happening or done by Dhoni. That is why he is Dhoni. That is why he is Captain Cool. That is why he is one of the greatest captains of the Indian era of cricket. Yes. Now it is very, very perplexing character. Dhoni, very, very perplexing character. When you look at his interviews, he will tell one thing very, very interesting. One thing, just one thing. I think I would have told you already in your orientations. The one thing which he says is control the controllable factors up to a controllable manner. Very, very profound, my dear. Profound, profound. Controlling the controllable factors up to a controllable manner. That's all. How is going to be the paper? Is that my business? Not my business. What is examiner going to set? Not my business. Whether will questions come from this topic? Not my business. Whether whatever I write, will the examiner be able to evaluate and will the examiner will be able to give marks? Not my business. Not my business at all. నేను చదువుకున్నది నాకు గుర్తొస్తుందా? Why question? Control the controllable factors, and the only thing that you can control in this process of examination is the time you study. That's all. That's all. What is the time you study? I always tell my students that one particular factor, I give them an objective thing, 10 hours of study, 14 hours of enjoyment. బాగుందా వినడానికి? It's nice. Every day out of 24 hours, I will study only 10 hours. 14 hours, Jingilala, I will enjoy. Who told you to study 14 hours? Nobody told you. Because this examination will demand an element of consistency. మనమంతా ఏం చేస్తాం? ఈరోజు నేను ఇంత మోటివేషన్ ఇస్తున్నాను, రైట్? You go back tomorrow morning 5:30, you will get up, all around, people around you will be tensed. Arey mama, ఏమైంది? Arey, yesterday one sir came. You said study. 5:30 you get up, study. You study 10 hours. Next day, you get up at 6:30. You study 8 hours. Next day, 6 hours. Next day, 4 hours. Next day, 2 hours. Next day, break. Why? Because you studied all the week. That's why you will take break. Why, my dear? What is a miss in this examination? The major miss in this examination is this factor of consistency. The major miss in this examination is this factor of consistency. That is what is going to be missing here. That is what is going to be missing. And I already told, and I will emphasize that examination is not difficult. Examination is not at all difficult. With my personal experience, I am telling you, it is not at all difficult. Process is difficult. Examination is not difficult. Examination is all within the syllabus. Only the process is difficult. Why is the process difficult? Because of this. మనం బుక్ ముందర ఉంటే ఏదో ముళ్ళ సింహాసనం మీద కూర్చున్నట్టు ఉంటుంది. ఎప్పుడప్పుడు టీ బ్రేక్, యూ విల్ బి లైక్, మమా టీ బ్రేక్, mama tea break. When did you study, my dear? Process is difficult. That is why most of the people falter and they have an apprehension and misunderstanding that examination is difficult. Examination is never difficult. Trust me. Never difficult. It is only the process. Enduku? Consistency. Do you think that it is so easy? Every day morning you get up, you take the same book, you read the same syllabus for next 1 year without break. Maximum break can be the Sunday afternoon, provided you would have studied 65 to 70 hours of study in that week. Is it easy? Not at all easy. Your head will be paining. Your leg will be paining, your hands will be paining, your back will be paining, heart will be paining, because they are your loved ones you would not be talking to, your babies. ఎందుకంటే చదివేటప్పుడు, హాయ్ బేబీ ఇప్పుడే బ్రేక్ఫాస్ట్ తిన్నాను, you can't say. For 10 hours you can't do all those. Rest 14 hours your wish. Nobody is stopping you. For 10 hours you can't say, baby I just opened Lakshmikant. This Lakshmikant is so friendly to me, just like you. Pulihora. You can't do this. 10 hours is an absolute focused time. Absolute. There is nobody in this world except you and your book. చెప్తారు కదమ్మా డైలాగులు. బేబీ నువ్వు నేను ఈ ప్రపంచంలో ఉంటే ఎంత బాగుండు. You say to your loved ones, పాప మా బేబీ బాగానే ఉంటుంది. She will say or he will say. Like that, you and your book for 10 hours. 1 year, my dear, 1 year. సంవత్సరం. మీరు ఇప్పుడు now we have started, so for you it's 9 months. 9 months. 9 months consistency, trust me, prelims will be a cakewalk. Cakewalk. ఆ యూపీఎస్సీ మనిషి రూపంలో వచ్చి మిమ్మల్ని కట్టేసి ఆపాలనుకున్నా ఆపలేదు. ట్రస్ట్ మీ. It is only that you have to be consistent. Because automatically what happens, I always tell to my students one particular formula called 3C. 3C formula. C is equals to C is equals to C. Easy formula. If all the formulas in maths were so easy, everybody would have liked maths. Papam edo integration antaru, differentiation antaru. Pointless. What is this first C? Consistency. And the day you have consistency, you will automatically become confident. Just for 1 week try this. 1 week. 1 week try this. Every day you study 10 hours. Automatically on the 8th day you will start walking like this. Friends around you, hey, what happened? Because you would not know that you would have gained so much of confidence just by being consistent for 1 week. 1 week. Your friends will say, "Arey, what happened? Last 1 week I studied 10 hours. I challenge, can you?" That fellow will say, "Oddulera." No. It's okay, I'm happy now. So what happens is the immediate consequence of being consistent is confidence. Very, very important in this examination. Very, very important. Confidence of what? Confidence on yourself. Not only on yourself, on your work. Not only on your work, on your execution. Not only on your execution, on your practice. Not only on your practice, on your application. Not only on your application, on your analysis. Confidence. Because when there is no confidence, will you be able to choose an option out of 4? You can't choose. OMR bubble చేసేటప్పుడు చేయి వణుకుతుంటుంది. Instead of bubbling one with that fear, you will bubble all 4 and come out. Because you lack confidence. And when you start writing answers, you will fear to put the pen onto the paper. Why? Because you do not have the confidence that whatever I am going to write, I will write as per the question. Adu undadu man daggara. Why will you not have this confidence? For the reason that you were not consistent. The day you are consistent, you are confident. And last C, very, 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 very important C. The day you are confident, the third C follows is clarity. Clarity of what? Clarity of subject, clarity of circumstances, clarity of intentions, clarity of situation, clarity of direction, clarity of whatever is going on around you. Because unless and until you are clear about what you are doing, you are clear about what is the orientation of the examination, you are clear about what is your direction of preparation, you are not going to clear this exam. So for you to clear this exam, you need to have clarity over all of this. Very simple mantra, don't you think so? Simple mantra. The only initiation, the only foundation that I need to do, consistent. And for you to be consistent, MS Dhoni's dialogue, control the controllable factors in a controllable manner. Dialogue బాగుంది కదా. But such a profound meaning. And always people ask, always students ask, "Sir, how can we be consistent? 1 week we tried, we were hardly able to be consistent." వాళ్ళు గుర్తొస్తారు, వీళ్ళు గుర్తొస్తారు, suddenly somebody will come and disturb. The simplest mantra I will tell you to be consistent. Simple trick. Don't worry, we'll get back to this geography part. ఇది నాకు వదిలేయండి, నేను చూసుకుంటాను. రైట్, భద్రంగా ఉన్నాను కదా, నేను చూసుకుంటాను. I will take care of this. మీరు ఏ భారాన్ని మోయకండి. మొత్తం భారాన్నంతా నా మీద పెట్టాను. రోజు జిమ్ చేసేది ఎందుకమ్మా నేను? వై డూ యూ థింక్ ఐ డూ జిమ్ ఎవ్రీ డే? 100 kg వేసుకొని వెయిట్ లిఫ్టింగ్ ఎందుకు చేసేది? టు డీబర్డన్ యూ. మీరు ఎక్కువ మోయకండి. వీ విల్ టేక్ కేర్. రిలాక్స్. అలా రిలాక్స్ అయ్యి అలా కూర్చొని వినండి పాఠాన్ని. ఆటోమేటిక్గా యూ విల్ క్లియర్ దిస్ ఎగ్జామ్. One simple mantra for you to be consistent is count your minute. Count your minute. What do you mean by counting your minute? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not that. Where have you spent your every minute? Have you spent your every minute in the direction of your aspiration, in the direction of your ambition, in the direction of your intent of becoming a civil servant or not? Sir, for how many hours should I count? Count for 10 hours. Sufficient. Other 14 hours, you enjoy. But there is a disclaimer there. Whatever you enjoy for next 14 hours should not affect the 10 hours next day. Simple. Sir told enjoy. Johnny Walker to Allah walking killers vachi. Next day, sir, hangover, sir. You told enjoy. We went for a walk with the Johnny Walker. We came. Hangover. The disclaimer is what? Enjoy for 14 hours. But those enjoyments should not disturb your next day 10 hours. Simple funda. దీనికి రాకెట్ సైన్స్ అవసరమా? అశోక్ నగర్లో people will be like, they will be like this. And you ask, Arey Babu, why are you like that? Are you married? Because first doubt when I see their face, I get that only. They are like this. Are you married? I say no. Then why are you keeping your face like that? If you are not married, you should be happy. Why are you keeping your face like that? Then they will say, I am an UPSC aspirant. Oh, Bhavandamma, very nice. Then ask them, why are you not smiling? They will say, I am serious about the examination. Ore buffoon. Being serious about the examination doesn't mean keeping a face like, oh. Not that. What do you mean by seriousness? Seriousness in thought. Seriousness in the intent. Seriousness in the dedication. Seriousness with respect to the focus. That doesn't mean that seriousness about this examination will eat away your smile. Smile, smile, smile. Be happy and steady. Happy, steady. Happy, steady. Endukante when you look at these Ashok Nagar people, ఏదో మొత్తం సంసార భారాన్ని అంతా వాళ్ళ నెత్తిని మోస్తున్నట్టు బిహేవ్ చేస్తుంటారు. ఒకడు పరిగెత్తుంటాడు, ఒకడు ప్యాంట్ వేసుకోవడం మర్చిపోయి ఉంటాడు, షర్టు బటన్లు పెట్టుకోవడం మర్చిపోతుంటాడు, పరిగెత్తుంటాడు, అలా నడుస్తూ చదువుతుంటారు. ఓవర్ యాక్షన్, నథింగ్ ఎల్స్. అంత అక్కర్లేదమ్మా. అన్నెసెసరీ హైప్. 10 గంటలు ప్రశాంతంగా ఫోకస్డ్ స్టడీ సఫిషియంట్. చూద్దాం. వెన్ వీ ట్రావెల్ ఫర్ సమ్ టైమ్, ఐ థింక్ వీ విల్ ట్రావెల్ కదా. ఒక 1.5 months వీ విల్ ట్రావెల్ బికాస్ I would deal geography and disaster. For 1.5 months we would travel together. You would see that the process or the examination is easy provided you understand what is the orientation of this exam. Ante. Ante. That's all. Right? Let's come back. Come back to climatology. Right? So we are going to understand what is the science behind the climate. And next is Oceanography. Now when you talk about oceanography, the fundamental understanding is major part of your earth is covered with water. Now that means it becomes an inherent nature, it becomes an inherent necessity for you to understand what is the dynamics that is present with respect to your oceans. And when you look at your oceanography also, our hero will be there. Who is our hero, my dear? Sun. Hero of climatology. Hero of geography. Not only hero of geography, hero of everybody's life. అవునా? If he doesn't come out, మనమంతా ఏం చేస్తామమ్మా? దుప్పట్లు కప్పుకొని ప్రశాంతంగా పడుకుంటాం. అవునా? What does sun do? Lay. He wakes you up every day. That's why he is hero. He is hero. Every part of your life is deciphered by the movement of the sun, by the presence of the sun, by the solar insolation. And you would see your geography, oceanography is also going to be determined on the basis of solar insolation. Because what happens is any ocean or any water body will have 3 determining characteristics. 3 determining characteristics. One particular characteristic is salinity. The other one is temperature. The other one is density, because it is liquid. So we would need to talk about density. In climatology we didn't talk about density. Why? For the reason it is gaseous. What is your air? Air is nothing but composition of gases, various composition. It might be nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, whatever, but different gases. Are you understanding? And you would see that this salinity is going to be determined by the temperature as one factor. Your density is going to be determined by the temperature. And you would also see there is a relation that is existing between salinity and density. And based on understanding these dynamics with respect to the water body, you would see that you would understand a phenomena called ocean currents. Ocean currents. Now, to simply put it, like in climatology, how we had wind system. What was wind doing, my dear? Wind system was balancing the difference in the temperature, balancing the difference in the pressure. That is why we call it as balancing circulation. Where? Atmosphere. Atmosphere. The similar manner, you would see your oceanic currents to be the wind systems of your oceans. What do? They are also balancing circulation. What do they balance? They balance the difference in the salinity, they balance the difference in the temperature, they would balance the difference in the density. It is also a balancing circulation. Just like your wind system. Just like your wind system. So, all these aspects we would discuss with respect to your oceanography. There we would see what are the factors that are deciphering your oceanic currents. 2022 question number 14 of GS1. You would see. Well, what are the factors that are enabling, or what are the factors that are influencing your oceanic currents? And not only what are the factors that are causing your oceanic currents, you would also see that what are the consequences of these oceanic currents, because in this oceanic currents you would see that there are something called as cold oceanic currents, there are something called as warm oceanic currents. Based on its origin, we would classify them as cold as well as warm. And you would see that cold oceanic currents will have a different impact, your warm oceanic currents will have a different impact, and when they meet together, they will have a different impact altogether. It might be with respect to the impact on the regional climate, it might be with respect to the impact on the fishing industry, it might be with respect to the impact on the navigation systems. We would see that how is this system going to determine, or how is the system going to impact so many aspects. Because you would see wherever there is cold current, at some point of time you would see desert formation. For example, when you talk about your Atacama desert in South America, you would see it is resultant of a cold current called Peruvian current or Humboldt current. So in this oceanography, what we will see this relation that is existing between the salinity, temperature and density, and if there is a difference, you would see a balancing circulation called oceanic currents, and this would have certain impacts. Right? Geomorphology. We have seen what is atmosphere. We have seen what is hydrosphere. There is one more part which we have to see whether we will be able to exist in a particular region or not. To decipher that, we have geomorphology. Geo means earth. Morpho means form, to change. Geomorphology. Now, as part of your geomorphology, you would study what is the interiors of the earth, because we have studied what is atmosphere, we have studied what is hydrosphere. Now we have to study what is left, what is the interiors. You would see that there is different layers that are present with respect to your earth. It might be a crust, it might be a mantle, it might be with respect to your core. Different layers are present. And when you have these different layers that are existing with respect to your interiors of the earth, again, will they keep quiet? They will not keep quiet. You would have various movements. Those movements can be endogenic movements, those movements can be exogenic movements. Don't worry, I am just introducing all these terms so that you would get acquainted with this. Endogenic movements, exogenic movements. Endo means inside, within, exo, outside, outside the earth's surface. And you would also see these movements can be slow movements, these movements can be sudden movements. Sudden movements like what? Earthquakes. Sudden movements like volcanism. Whenever there is an eruption of volcanism that is happening, you would see a certain form of landform is going to be formed, that is either an intrusive landform or an extrusive landform. Bhayapadakandamma, I am just introducing. Ala vintu unnandi, don't worry. We will study all these aspects. It is intrusive or extrusive. Intrusive means inside, extrusive means outside. Are you understanding? So, We'll talk about the earthquakes. We'll talk about different types of earthquakes. We'll talk about the different types of seismic waves. Seismic waves means earthquake waves are what are called as seismic waves. We will study how to measure your earthquake. And we will also see that in which all regions you would have this earthquake susceptibility or the vulnerable region for the earthquakes as well as volcanoes. We will see all this as part of your geomorphology. Apart from that, we will see that how are your mountains being built. You would talk about block mountains, you would talk about fold mountains, different kinds of mountains are being built. How? Is somebody going and keeping it? Something is happening. Edo jarugutundi. Em jarugutundi. That's what we will see as part of your geomorphology. Geomorphology. There we will see some movements happening within the earth's surface, some movements happening outside the earth's surface. Those which are happening outside the earth's surface are what are called as what? Exogenic movements. For example, erosion. You would have heard about wind erosion, water erosion. So that is an exogenic movement because it is happening outside. Some process like weathering. That means I have a big boulder because of some rainfall, because of the temperature, because of the mechanical action, because of the biological action. What is happening is you would see this boulder will start breaking into small parts. The fragmentation, the disintegration. The disintegration process is what is called as weathering. Weathering. All this will happen. All this. Now apart from this, now whatever be the region that is being formed in any particular area, this will have an interplay of both endogenic as well as exogenic movements. This will have an interplay of endogenic as well as exogenic. Based on this endogenic and exogenic, you would have what is the nature of the landform that is being formed in that particular region. We'll see that. We'll see that. And for you to understand all of this, we have to study about something called as plate tectonics. Plate tectonics. What is plate tectonics? Plate tectonics is plate tectonics. That's all. Simple. That means we are going to fundamentally see that there is a theory that was proposed that your continents are moving. Continents are moving. Continental drift theory given by Alfred Wegener. Continents are moving. How are these moving? Is some traffic police sending them? Hey, pada. Adi Balaya Babuku okkate satyam. Right? That can happen. Kattulato kaadu, kanti chuputo champutanu. It moves. Then continent, oh, sorry Balaya Babu, it moves. Continent, continental drift. And for these landmass to move, you need to have some fluid layer. Yes? Now just imagine, in a water body I am throwing all thermocol sheets. How will your thermocol sheets behave? They will move. They will move. Will they keep quiet? They will move. Why are they moving? Because there is a fluid layer beneath it. That means if these landmass is also moving, that means there has to be some fluid layer beneath it. And this fluid layer you would see something called as asthenosphere. Asthenosphere. There is a fluid layer, there is a molten layer which is enabling the movement of these plates. And these plates are moving, these plates are interacting, these plates are resulting in so many landforms. Landforms. All this we'll study here. And all of this will result in what, my dear? Formation of soil. Soil. You will have different types of soil. And your black soil is fundamentally out of what, my dear? It is fundamentally out of your volcanic eruption. Your alluvial soil is because of the depositions that is done by your water. All those things will decipher what is the nature of the soil of a particular region. If a particular region is having high rainfall, if a particular region is having high temperature, you would have your lateritic formations. Many different types of soils we'll see. Are you understanding? All these are what? All these are interplay of your endogenic as well as exogenic movements. Apart from this, you would also see that what are the different types of landforms that are formed. And for these landforms formation, you would have the role of wind, you would have the role of water, you would have the role of glacier. We will study all these different types of landforms. That might be with respect to why are your deltas formed. Why are your rapids formed? Why are your waterfalls formed? Why are the birchams in the deserts are formed? Why are your deep gorges are formed? Why are your deep valleys are formed? All these are what, my dear? All these are different kinds of landforms that you see. And those kinds of landforms are fundamentally derived by the action of either wind, either water, either glaciers. And whatever landform that is formed, it is broadly classified into two. Either it is a depositional landform or either it is a erosional landform. Broadly divided. Deposition ante enti? It is depositing. Eroding ante enti? It is taking away. Now when it is taking away from somewhere, it has to deposit somewhere. Simple process. That means you can have two different types of landforms. One is your erosional landform as well as the depositional landform. All this we will study. The science behind different kinds of landforms, the process of formation of different kinds of landforms, the dynamics that are involved with respect to different kinds of landforms we are going to study as part of your geomorphology. Is this clear? With this we finish physical geography. See, so easy. Not easy? అయిపోయింది. వెళ్ళి ప్రిలిమ్స్ రాసేసేయండి. అంతే. Geography is very easy subject. మనం బుద్ధి లేక దాన్ని కష్టం అనుకుంటాం అంతే. Very easy subject. Because once you understand, nothing to by heart, my dear. What is there to by heart? How will you by heart the wind system? Will you by heart the wind system? Array planetary wind, for every planetary wind I will have temperature. Will you by? Not needed. Not needed. Understand the concept that whenever there is a difference, there is wind system. Whenever there is difference in the oceanic body with respect to your salinity, temperature and density, I have oceanic currents. That current might be warm current, that current might be cold current. Simple. Geography is easy, provided you understand. Ante. Right? Physical geography is this. We have finished your physical geography. Now when you look at the applicative aspect of this particular geography or the extension of this geography, now where are we here? Where are we living? ఏ దేశం అమ్మ మంది? India. Which civil services are we writing for? India or Nepal? India only? Both? Exotic undamma ideto. We are writing for India. So that means we have seen about the world. We have seen in general what is your physical geography with respect to your climatology, with respect to your geomorphology, with respect to your oceanography. Now all those concepts that you study as part of this, now we have to imbibe or apply them where? For your Indian geography. Ade Indian geography. Nothing more. Whatever you studied in your physical geography, when you apply it to the local context, when you apply it to the local context, that is what is Indian geography. And Indian geography, what do you study, my dear? In Indian geography, you would study Indian physiography. What is physiography? What is the pattern of the landforms that is existing all across the earth? When you look at the northern belt, you would see Himalayas being arranged just like a barrier, huge barrier. India ko oka bodyguard laga untadi, Himalayas. And when you move, you see that there are cold deserts which are present over here, Leh, Ladakh and Spiti Valley over here, Himachal Pradesh. Then again when you move little south, you would see your northern plains being present over your Gangetic belt. Then again on the right side you would have your mangrove structures, you would have your Sundarbans being present. On the western side, northwestern side, you would see the desert formation, Thar desert. On the again western side, little lower in the Gujarat, you would see your marshes, salt marshes being present there. And when you look at the central belt, you would see your plateau structures which are present. And when you move down again, you would see your peninsular region, you would see the coastal belts. One side you would have Western Ghats, one side you would have Eastern Ghats, one side you would have Arabian Sea, one side you would have Bay of Bengal. And you would also see this particular region being called as Deccan Plateau. This particular region being called as part of the Deccan Trap, peninsular region. Now here what is happening, you see so much of diversity that is existing all across the country, and when you have so much of diversity, you need to fundamentally understand why is this diversity being formed. Himalayas akkade enduku unnayi, Telanganalo enduku levu? Mana KCR తాత ikkade unnadu kada, Telanganalo enduku levu Himalayas? Anukunde teppiyochu, cheppale. Because KCR తాత can change constitution also, right? He can, no issues. We don't know, right? That can happen. This is happening, right? This is one aspect. We need to understand why is this pattern like this? Why do we have desert only in the western side? ఏపీలో ఉండొచ్చు కదా కడపలో ఉండొచ్చు హానరబుల్ చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్స్ హౌస్ పక్కనే అలా డెజర్ట్ ఉండొచ్చు could have been there. Why only in the western side? It is there only in the western side for certain reasons. Why Western Ghats are like this and why Western Ghats are more continuous in comparison to Eastern Ghats? Both should have been equal for the reason both are coastal belts, along the coastal belts. But you see that your Western Ghats are more continuous. Enduku? All this you would understand with the application of your geomorphology to Indian geography. Simple. The next immediate thing that you would see with respect to your Indian geography is Indian climate. And you would see that this Indian climate being equated with monsoon. Because you would see that this monsoon as a phenomena is going to be an unifying phenomena. All across India you would see a whole lot of systems changing with respect to your monsoon, your festivals, your economic systems, your parliamentary session. Monsoon session is there. There is so much of economy, there is so much of societal aspect, there is so much of political aspect is related to this particular phenomena. That is why your Indian climate is almost equated with Indian monsoon. And 60% of the Indian agriculture is dependent on Indian monsoon. And 50% of Indian population is dependent on Indian agriculture. And this 50% of population which is dependent on Indian agriculture will contribute to 17% of GDP. Relation. So that's why your climate is equated with monsoon. Your Indian climate, there you would study again certain aspects of western disturbances. You would also see what is the impact of Indian monsoon, the southwestern and northeastern part, different types. All these will be studied as part of your Indian climate. Once you study Indian climate, the immediate thing that you would study with respect to this is the Indian drainage system. Because this is geomorphology, this is climatology. What is left? Oceanography or hydrosphere aspect, drainage systems. I would study the riverine system, I would study what is the fundamental difference that is existing between your Himalayan rivers as well as your peninsular rivers. Why are your Himalayan rivers perennial in nature? Why are your peninsular rivers seasonal in nature? Why is your Kaveri almost perennial in nature? What is the difference? What is the relation that they are talking about? A project called interlinking of rivers. And there you would see different geological patterns deciphering or determining the nature of the drainage system. Is it a consequent rock system? Is it a subsequent rock system? Is it an antecedent stream or is it a superimposed stream? Is it a trellis pattern? Is it a rectangular pattern? Is it a dendritic pattern or is it a annular pattern or is it a radial pattern or is it a centripetal pattern? Different kinds of patterns you would see with respect to all of these drainage systems. So we studied physiography, we studied climate, we studied drainage. Now what we have to study? Biosphere is left. As part of that biosphere we would study the Indian vegetation. What is the distribution of this Indian vegetation? What is the different kinds of forest you see with respect to the Indian vegetation? Why do you find large amount of forest area in your northeast? Why density of forest is high with respect to your Madhya Pradesh, regions of Chhattisgarh, regions of Jharkhand? What kind of forest do you find or what kind of vegetation do you find in a hot desert like Thar? What kind of vegetation do you find in cold deserts like Leh or Spiti Valley? So what is happening is you would study the nature of the vegetation that is present in the India, the different kinds of mangrove systems that are present across your coastal belts. Asal mangroves enduku akkade unnai? Why? All those aspects you will understand only if you understand all this. Because for the reason that your Indian physiography is going to determine what is the nature of the soil that is present in that particular region, and this nature of the soil is going to determine nature of vegetation. Your climate is going to determine the nature of the vegetation. If it is always raining, if you are having high frequency of rainfall, if you are having high intensity of rainfall, you would have evergreen forest. And if you are having very, very dry conditions, you would have dry vegetation, something like that. Drainage system. Depending on the water availability also, you would have the nature of forest, the nature of vegetation that is present. This is what is your Indian geography. Intaku minchi akkarledu, chalu, sufficient. And once you study your Indian geography, once you study your physical geography, what is left, my dear? Human and economic geography. Human and economic geography. So when you talk about this human and economic geography, what is this? The human and economic geography, you would find that this is an application of your physical geography. Because what is happening is, we have seen that what is going to be the climate, what is going to be the geographical condition or the geological condition, or what is the condition that is existing with respect to your geomorphology there, and what is the hydrological system that is existing there. Based on this, I would determine what is the human element, population. Why do your northern belt have high densities of population? When you look at your Gangetic belt, when you look at your northern plain belt, you would have high densities of population. There you would study different characteristics of population, their birth rate, their death rate, their mortality rates. There again you would study something called as TFR, total fertility rate. Different aspects you would study. And why are these varying? And these are fundamentally varying with respect to variation of all of these features that are present there. And once you understand your physical geography, you would be automatically able to decipher and understand why is your population distributed in this manner only. Very, very easy. And once you understand these aspects of population, the immediate thing that you need to understand is population dynamics. When you talk about this population dynamics, what is your growth rate? What is your decadal growth rate? What is your annual growth rate? Is there some aspect that is happening with respect to this population growth rates? What are the factors that are influencing with respect to your population growth rates? And is there any balancing phenomena with respect to this population in the form of migration? Or is there a phenomena called urbanization which is impacting the population dynamics, which is impacting the migration as a phenomena? Because your urbanization is nothing but a manifestation of migration from rural to urban areas. And there we would study different types of urbanization, counter-urbanization, suburbanization, all this aspect, conurbation, all these aspects. Those are what? Those are population dynamics. Easy, very easy. Right, sir, మీరు అలానే అంటారు. నేను అలా అనడం కాదమ్మా. Easy. Believe that it is easy. Hallucination stage 6 లో ఉందాం మనం అందరం. That geography is easy, don't worry, it is easy. It is easy, it is easy, it is easy, it is easy, it will become easy. అంతే కదమ్మా. ఏదో కష్టం 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 అనుకుంటే ఏదో కొండెక్కుతున్నట్టు ఉంటుంది కదా, అలానే ఫీలింగ్ ఇస్తారు అందరు. అశోక్ నగర్ లైక్ దట్ ఓన్లీ. ఏం చదివేవరా అంటే జాగ్రఫీ ఫస్ట్ చాప్టర్. Most of the aspirants will have geography as a problem. You know why? They don't understand the concept. They will try to buy hat. They don't understand the concept. Gone case. Now when they ask you the dynamics with respect to your oceanic currents, sir, oceanic currents గాల్లో ఉంటాయా నీళ్ళల్లో ఉంటాయా? ఫండమెంటల్ డౌట్. అరే భలే అడిగేవరా, ఫండమెంటల్ డౌట్. వాట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్? సో మచ్ ఆఫ్ వేరియేషన్. కాన్సెప్చువల్ సబ్జెక్ట్ అలానే పెట్టండి. అండ్ ఇంజనీర్స్, వన్ డిస్క్లైమర్, డోంట్ ఓవర్ థింక్. ఇంజనీరింగ్లో బుర్ర వాడలేదని ఇక్కడ వాడకండి. నాకు తెలుసు, నేను కూడా ఒక ఇంజనీరే, ఐ నో. దట్స్ వై ఐ సే ప్రౌడ్ ఇంజనీర్స్. We are proud that we are not pursuing our engineering. Kadamma. When we are discussing about human geography, when we are discussing about population dynamics, there I would make the engineers even more proud by stating Indian skill report. It says only 42% are employable. Rest 58%, where are they, my dear? Ashok Nagar. Ashok Nagar. Simple. వాళ్ళకి అర్థం కాలేదమ్మా పాపం. let us help them. 42% is only employable, less 58% UPSC aspirants. Right? Okay. So that is with respect to your human geography. Now once you understand the population dynamics, once you understand the aspects of population, then immediately the economic aspects. బతకాలి కదమ్మా, బతకాలి కదా, ఆకులు అలములు తినలేం కదా, తింటారా? తినే పని అయితే ఇక్కడ ఎందుకు ఉన్నారు? అవునా? ఎకానమిక్ యాక్టివిటీ, పుట్టాం, బతకాలి, బతకాలంటే ఎకానమిక్ యాక్టివిటీ. When you talk about economic activity, simple, 3 sectors: agri, industry, service. Your agriculture, we would study different aspects. We would see a particular structure called pre-harvest, during harvest and post-harvest. We would see what are the different problems that are existing with respect to agriculture, what can be the solutions with respect to agriculture. And we would see what do you fundamentally understand by alternative farming systems like your organic farming, like your ZBNF, like your aquaponics, hydroponics, Vedic farming, vertical farming. Different aspects we'll see about agriculture. Then we would talk about industries. Now industry is very, very important with respect to this examination because every year you have 15 marker from industrial geography. Factors of location of industries. ఏ ఇండస్ట్రీ ఎక్కడ పెట్టచ్చు? Now for you to set up an industry, what you need, my dear? You need raw materials, you need labor, you need land, you need water, you need electricity, you need money, you need policy, you need market, you need transportation. Industry. Now you also can set up industry. You can set up, because only these factors would be determining or deciphering what is the location for setting up an industry. This year they had asked about rubber industry. Rubber. Are you understanding? Services sector or service sector, we would see what is your tertiary service or tertiary sector, sorry, or quaternary sector or quinary, different types. Then apart from this, we would also see one very, very important aspect, that is with respect to your transportation as well as energy. Transportation with respect to your airways, waterways, roadways, railways, inland waterways, different importance. What is the significance, what is the importance, what is the potential, what is the prospects, what are the challenges, and what should be the measures with respect to your transportation systems. We would see that. Then apart from that, the energy systems. The energy systems, it might be with respect to your renewable energy or non-renewable energy, conventional energy or non-conventional energy. It might be your wind energy, solar energy, thermal energy, nuclear energy, biomass energy, different kinds of energies we would discuss. Right? With this, your economic geography will be over. ఇంకేం మిగిలిందమ్మా? అయిపోయింది. తూచ్, geography gone. ప్రశాంతంగా పడుకోండి. Because geography is easy and geography we will finish. And one applicative aspect is we will study disaster. కదా, మన జీవితంలో డిజాస్టర్ జరగకూడదంటే డిజాస్టర్ని ఎలా మేనేజ్ చేయాలో we have to learn. అవునా? Because you can't say, when you become a civil servant, you can't say if somebody is being washed away in floods, you can't catch his collar and pull him like this. Will you be able to do that? లేదు, నువ్వు వాడితో పాటు కొట్టుకుపోతావు. You need to have certain awareness about managing a disaster. And there you would have certain guidelines given by certain institutions. We would see different aspects of disaster management, and we would see the fundamental understanding of disaster, and we would see certain basic terminologies there, because a lot of confusion exists between what is the difference between a disaster and a hazard. What is the understanding of vulnerability? What is the understanding of risk? What is the understanding of exposure? What is the understanding of disaster management? What is the understanding of disaster risk reduction? What is the understanding of disaster risk management? ఇవన్నీ ఒకటా వేరా? These are different. What is the fundamental difference we would see? Once we discuss these basic aspects of your disaster, then we would also discuss about certain aspects with respect to the various disasters that are present. What are the different causes? Those causes, are they causes of with respect to your natural causes or anthropogenic causes? We'll see what are the causes of your cyclones, urban fires, forest fires, or it might be with respect to your chemical disasters, biological disasters, your flooding systems, different kinds of disasters. We would study the causes. And once we study the causes of these disasters, we have to look at management. Then we will enter the element of disaster management. That management Can be with respect to what? Setting up an institutional setup. Your NDMA is there, your SDMA is there, your DDMA is there, your NDRF is there, SDRF is there, NIDM is there, your NEC is there, your SEC is there. So much of infrastructure, so much of institutional setup is done for your disaster management. Our support తీసుకొని disaster ని ఎలా manage చేయాలి? Do we have any guidelines? NDMA guidelines. Not only this, there you need to understand what are the stages of disaster management for you to manage a disaster. And you would see it might be pre-disaster, it might be during disaster, it might be post-disaster. And you would see what is this variation. And for you to understand, for you to focus upon whether it is pre-disaster, during disaster, post-disaster, you have to see how is the perception of disaster changing. Once upon a time people used to say it is an act of God. Act of God. అరే పాపాలు ఎక్కువైపోయాయి అందుకే కొట్టుకుపోతున్నాం ప్రళయం వస్తుంది. They say, that is what they say. It's a perception of a supernatural origin. Because they could not understand what is the science behind disaster. Primitive societies. Then after that the perception change that it is with respect to the environmental changes. Arey, your environment is changing. The nature is reacting, used to say. But on a later date, post your Sendai framework, post your Yokohama framework, post your Hyogo framework, what happened is, they started realizing, Arey Babu, not supernatural power, not your environment, it is what we have done. The societal perception of the disaster, the anthropogenic perception of the disaster, the human-induced perception of the disaster started to set in. And human beings started accepting that, yes, we are the reason, we are the reason, we are the reason. So when they started accepting it, automatically the disaster management systems also started to operate in the same direction. Arey Babu, చేసినంతా మనమే బొమ్మరిల్లు మొత్తం మీరే చేశారు మొత్తం హ్యూమన్స్ చేశారు human beings have done. And we started changing our management systems with that understanding. For you to understand this metamorphosis, for you to understand this dynamism with respect to your disaster management, you need to understand what is this perception that has been changing. Once you understand this, then we will move into the international framework. In international framework, you would see that any of your disaster management policy, any of your disaster legislation, any of your disaster institution, any of your disaster policy making, it is all driven by international frameworks. It all started in 1995 with respect to your Yokohama, then Hyogo, then Sendai. Sendai will talk about a very, very important principle called build back better. It talks about a principle called disaster resilience. వీటి గురించి అంతా మాట్లాడతాం. We'll study all these aspects. With this we will finish geography. Right? మీకు నాకు రామ్ రామ్ అవుతుంది అప్పుడు. ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తారు ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళరు చండీగఢ్ లోకల్ రైట్. సో దిస్ ఇస్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు యువర్ geography. It is an interesting subject provided you put in interest. చెడ్రా బాబు వీడు ఏం చెప్తున్నాడు, కొండలు అంటాడు, చెట్లు అంటాడు, పుట్టలు అంటాడు, పాములు అంటాడు, వరదలు అంటాడు, ఏం చెప్తున్నాడు, మనకు అవసరమా అన్న ఫీలింగ్లో ఉన్నారంటే difficult. Otherwise it is an easy subject, it is a decent subject, easiest of all. ఎందుకు నేను చెప్తున్నా కాబట్టి. Just kidding my dear. It is easy. It is easy for the reason that conceptual in nature. Conceptual in nature, right? Last 5 minutes, anything you want to ask? We would discuss. ధర్మ సందేహాలు ఏమన్నా ఉన్నాయా? ఏదైనా ఉంటే విల్ డిస్కస్ ఫర్ 5 minutes. Family matters, anything you want to discuss, any problems? Right? Because we are going to float together and sing together. I will never say you, I will never say me. It is always we. Why? మీరు బాగుంటేనే నేను బాగుంటాను కదా, అవునా? నేను ఆ ఫీలింగ్తోనే ఈ స్టేజ్ ఎక్కుతానమ్మా. అదర్వైజ్ నాకు ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి ఇంత సర్కస్ చేయాలని అనిపించదు, అసలు అనిపించదు. దట్ ఇంటెన్సిటీ విల్ నాట్ కమ్ ఇఫ్ ఐ డోంట్ ఓన్ యూ. ఐ ఓన్ యూ. అందుకే అప్పుడప్పుడు తిడుతుంటాను, ఏమనుకోకండి, రైట్? ఎందుకంటే దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ యాంగర్, కోపంతో కాదు, యాంగ్విష్, తపన. యాంగర్ అండ్ యాంగ్విష్ డిఫరెన్స్. నాట్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ యాంగర్, యాంగ్విష్, బికాజ్ ఐ ఓన్ యూ, రైట్? ఐ ఓన్ యూ, దట్స్ వాట్. When I own only, I will be able to get onto this stage and engage so well. Otherwise, అబ్బా వచ్చాను రా, అయిపోయింది, పద అన్నట్టు ఉంటుంది. I don't want and I don't like that, right? We'll slowly learn different aspects of this examination, as well as different aspects of geography, as well as some aspects of life also. Different things we will discuss, right? We will enjoy for some time, right? Okay. ఇంకేమైనా అడుగుతారా? యూ వాంట్ టు ఆస్క్ సంథింగ్? నేనేం కొట్టనమ్మా, చూడ్డానికి బలంగా ఉంటాను, కొట్టేవాడిలాగా ఉంటాను, బట్ కొట్టను. మీరు అడగాలనుకున్నది ప్రశాంతంగా అడగచ్చు, రైట్? నా ఫ్యామిలీ డీటెయిల్స్ తప్ప. ఏమ్మా, ఎనీథింగ్ యూ వాంట్ టు ఆస్క్? లాస్ట్ 2 minutes, విల్ ఎండ్ ది సెషన్. No doubts? All happy? Stay focused. Stay happy. Happy. You know why humans have longer life than animals? Telsamma? Secret telsa dan venkala. Animals have comparatively shorter life. Humans have longer life. 120 సంవత్సరాలు. ఏ పాపాత్ముడు బతుకుతాడో ఏమో. 120 years. ఏం చేయాలమ్మా 120 years? మామా బాబు కన్నా, what will you live 120 years? You know why you have such a long lifespan? Because of smile. The more you smile, the more you live. ఏదో బతికి సాధించేయాలని కాదమ్మా, బతుకున్న దానికి నవ్వాలి, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. Because the only difference between man and animal is what these days? మీరు నవ్వచ్చు, అవి నవ్వలేవు, అంతే తేడా. మిగతావన్నీ ఒకటే అమ్మా, మిగతావన్నీ ఇంచుమించు సేమ్. మీరు జంగల్లో ఉంటే వాళ్ళలాగే అయోమయం జగన్నాథం నడుస్తుంటుంది అంతా. అందరూ ఒక కుక్క, ఒక నక్క, ఒక ఏనుగు, ఒక సింహం, ఒక పులి, ఒక ఎలుగుబంటి. ప్రతి మనిషిలో ఏదో ఒక యాంగిల్ ఉంది, కాదా? కాదా? హియర్ అరిస్టాటిల్ సేస్ వాట్? హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్ ఈజ్ అ సోషల్ యానిమల్. కానీ అందులో ఏమైపోయింది? హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్స్ హ్యావ్ బికమ్ యానిమల్స్, నాట్ సోషల్ యానిమల్స్. సోషల్ గాలికి వదిలేశారు. ఏమనంటే వెస్టర్నైజ్డ్ సొసైటీస్, మోడర్నైజ్డ్ సొసైటీస్. వెరీ గుడ్, రైట్? ఓకే. అండ్ geography will teach you lot of lessons that you learn from the nature. Geography will teach you. Now you know what is the speed of the earth? 107,280 kilometers per hour. Speed of earth. మనకు అసలు అనిపిస్తుందా? Are we able to experience an iota of that speed of the earth's rotation and revolution? No. Are we experiencing? ప్రశాంతంగా కూర్చొని నేను చెప్పేది వింటున్నారా? Just imagine that if the earth is rotating and you are feeling it. ఎక్కడ ఉంటారమ్మా? సీన్ కట్ చేస్తే ఎక్కడో ఉంటారు ఆ స్పీడ్కి, రిలేటివ్ వెలాసిటీ. బట్ సో మచ్ ఆఫ్ స్పీడ్, బట్ నథింగ్ ఈస్ బీయింగ్ ఫెల్ట్ బై అస్. వాట్ ఈస్ ద నేచర్ టీచింగ్ యూ? Nature is teaching you the stability of thought. Whatever be the circumstances, whatever be the intensity of the circumstances, your thought has to be stable. అప్పుడు ఇది చెప్పడానికి కృష్ణుడు అర్జునుడికి భగవద్గీత 18 chapters he said. He talks about the concept of sthita pragnata. That whatever be the condition, staptata, stable. And for that he says, my dear, there is a very, very simple trick for that. He says nishkama karma. What is that nishkama karma? Work without any attachment to the result. Nishkama karma. Sthita Pragnata comes from Nishkama Karma because you don't have any attachment to the result. When you do not have any attachment to the result, where is the source of turmoil? It is always stable. Stable. And you would get that Nishkama Karma from a philosophy called Trikarana Suddhi. And the extrapolation of Trikarana Suddhi in your Mundaka Upanishad talks about Manasyekam, Vachasyekam, Karmanyekam, Duratmanam. It says the unity of thought, unity of word, unity of deed, what makes an individual great. Once you have that convergence of thought, word and deed, automatically you would work towards Nishkama Karma, and the day you work towards Nishkama Karma, you achieve Sthita Pragnata. That is what is needed for this exam. Work. Control the controllable factors in a controllable manner. Simple. Let's see what will happen. Chesed cheddam. Emotadi. Nothing will happen. Poyede emundi banisa sankellu tappa. Ante kadamma. Ante. Right? We'll meet for your geography sessions. Okay? All the best. Stay happy, stay focused and stay dedicated.